Hello and welcome to another Friday Afternoon Live. It's lovely to have you on board joining us here today in a very sunny and warm Piccadilly. My name's Kevin Reid, I'm the editor of Accountancy and I'm presenting today's show. As you'll notice, I'm in my civvies today and not my shirt and suit. That's because I'm not actually following the fashion tips of my deputy Richard Crump, who was in his civvies last week. But because Accountancy and Professional Pension are going off to play softball at Hyde Park this afternoon for our little summer afternoon jolly up, so that should be good fun. Will depend, of course, if anyone gets injured, because I'm sure, as you know, there's always someone that picks up an injury at these events. But anyway, putting all that to one side, today's broadcast we're going to cover mid-tier firms' cost concerns around the provision of audit services. And we'll also chat a little bit about Jeremy Corbyn and his attitudes around tax. Let's start off at the beginning. So we put a story up on Accountancy Age this week covering concerns from the mid-tier around the cost, the burdensome costs and regulation and red tape that surround the provision of audit services to their clients. Some of them have argued that it's a bit of a tipping point, that the margins are not there really for them to provide audit to half a dozen or a dozen listed clients, because the cost and the red tape around that make it just not a viable service line for them. And so quite a few of them are kind of not really offering audit at the moment, and this I think is quite an interesting thing. We're obviously seeing audit thresholds move, and they're only moving in one direction, and that's going to mean we're going to see fewer and fewer audits taking place. But of course, if the mid-tier firms, the £20 million, £30 million firms are not going to offer audit services, we're going to end up with even more audit market concentration. And we need as many firms good firms offering a service as possible. The ICAW have said that as far as their costs are concerned, in terms of the costs that they put upon firms around the regulation, that they keep these costs under review. And obviously, the cost of complying with what the ICAW requires of audit firms is never going to be the be-all and end-all in terms of whether you would offer an audit service or not. But I think it's an interesting topic. We want to have plenty of good firms offering audit. So I'm kind of intrigued as to how that is going to change in the market. I wonder whether we'll see some specialist audit practices arising from the ashes of the changes to the marketplace. So we'll see how that all pans out. It's a very interesting topic, and obviously a fundamental one, an issue that's going to run and run. Another article we put up this week on Accountancy Age is by a chap called Nicholas Hallam. He's the CEO of VAT consultancy Accordance, and he has covered the issue around Jeremy Corbyn's tax policy and some of the problems and issues that Corbyn's going to face around tax. Corbyn has talked about this so-called £120 billion tax gap that needs to be filled. That's obviously a very big number, and lots of people are questioning whether A, the tax gap is that big, and B, whether it's actually feasible to close that in any way, shape or form. One area that Jeremy is interested in is moving away from regressive tax policies, those that tax on consumption as opposed to income. So there may be a possibility for Jeremy to look at VAT, which obviously a core consumption tax. The problem that Nicholas Hallam has flagged up around VAT, though, is it's such a big revenue raiser that if Corbyn was to look to try and cut VAT, where are you going to make up the difference? VAT brings in tens of billions of pounds of revenue into the exchequer. So Nicholas Hallam of Accordance is saying that Jeremy Corbyn has got some serious thinking to do in terms of putting together a coherent and viable tax strategy. But again, that's another interesting article that's up on the Accountancy Age website. Give that a look, and that's been quite popular on Twitter and social media, lots of comments around that. Another story that we've been covering was, you may remember the former MP Alan Milburn accused professional services firms of having poshness tests really and excluding the working class. As a follow-up to that, we actually undertook an online poll. We've had a whopping 750 responses to that, which is fantastic. Basically asking people whether they think accountancy firms do exclude the working class and have the so-called poshness test. I won't reveal the result of that, but it is up online on accountancyage.com. So if that's an issue that you find of interest, please check that out. For me now, I guess I'm off to Hyde Park, and my main aim really for the afternoon is to have a couple of sausage rolls, a couple of tinnies, and try not to pick up another injury. We do seem to get at least one every year at these our little Hyde Park shindigs, so we'll see how that all pans out. And I'll leave you to it on a very, very sunny Piccadilly. I'll go and put my shorts on now, and thank you for joining us, whether you've watched it live through Periscope or archived on the Accountancy Age website. Great to have you on board. See you next week.